مریم جان، لطفاً در مورد دوران کودکیت، در مورد طفولیتت بر ما بگو.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. تشکر از اینکه این راه دور آمدین. با آتوا خیلی خوشحالم که با شما ملاقات میکنم. اگه که دوستان اجازه بدن این اینترویو بیشتری به انگلیسی میکنم، کمتری به دری. خدا کنه که مورد پسند باشه. My memories of Afghanistan are memories filled with a lot of love, families spending a lot of time together and being strengthened by the relationship that they have with one another. The Afghanistan I remember is an Afghanistan where elders are respected and they also further strengthen the family. So for me, even though we did experience hardships early on in my life and my sisters, we were so fortunate to have a family around us that made us forget the pain and the trauma. And instead, my childhood is a childhood filled with fun, mischief with my sisters, and a lot of support from aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins. So I have very, very warm memories of growing up as an Afghan in an Afghani community.
چی باعث شد که کانادا آمده؟
مادرم تقریبا سنمه بودن و تصمیم گرفتن که این سه دختر یا اینا عروس باید بکنم یا اگه که مام که همونطور که پدر خودم میخواستن، پدر این دخترها میخواستن که اینا بتونن بر پا خود ایستاد شن و به جامعه یک خدمت کنن. اگه این کار من بخوام ادامه بدم باید وردارم اینا و برم به جایی که اقلن تحصیلات خور بتونن ادامه بدن. And that's why she decided. And I don't know how she made that decision. I'm her age now. I don't know if I would have the courage to do something like that, to set out on an uncertain journey with three little girls. But she did, and she brought us to Canada, to Peterborough, Ontario. We had family there. My uncle lived there at the time. و اونا خیلی کمک کردن و معجزه شد که ما صحیح و سالم خود تونستیم برسونیم. And 20 years later, here we are.
مریم جان، خودت 11 ساله بودی که کانادا آمدی. آیا دو وقت فکر میکردی که یک روز در این موقف و مقام برسی؟
اصلاً. این بگم که پدر بزرگ من یک مرد تحصیل کرده، یک مرد روشن فکر، یک مرد که واقعاً باوردیش که چی زن باشی چی مرد همه استعدادی داریم و گنجایشی داریم که بتونیم خود به جای برسونیم. My grandfather spent a lot of time with my sisters and with myself. And when we'd have those difficult questions for him, هجی بابا، خدا بیامرزه اونار، هجی بابا میگفتیم هجی بابا چرا این سختی ها، چرا این مشکل ها، چرا پدر ما خدا از ما گرفت. هجی بابا خدا بیامرز میگفتن بابا این مشکلات شما باید میدیدین که وقتی که کلون باشین بفهمین که رنج چیه، درد چیه و این رنج و درد باعث بشین که دیگه مردم احساس نکنن. So he made us believe that when we grow up we will do great things in our lives. I never thought that entering politics would be that. I knew that's from a young age we were brought up to believe that service to community is very important. But as an 11-year-old new to Canada, I was sad and depressed, and I missed my family and my loved ones back home. I didn't speak the language, I didn't fit in, I didn't really want to be here. And so the last thing on my mind 20 years ago was the possibility of getting further engaged in this place.
فرهنگ افغانی را چقدر حفظ کردی؟ چقدر خود افغان احساس میکنی؟
شما چقدر افغان احساس میکنین؟ این سوال جالبیه. البته فرهنگ ما، وطن ما، culture ما، our history, our traditions, these are all aspects of my identity and who I am, and I'm very proud of our rich cultural heritage and the contributions that the people of Afghanistan have made and continue to make. But like مثل بیشتر مهاجر افغان که در سرتاسر دنیا هستن, my identity is also shaped by the second home that I've adopted. And so I also take a great deal of pride in being a citizen of Canada. I'm so proud to be a product of what Peterborough, Ontario does really best, really well. And so that is a really difficult question to answer, but I hope that I will represent the positive aspects of our culture very well, and I also aim to serve the people who have elected me and are counting on me to make their lives easier as well. So I think it's a balancing act.
کانادا یک تعداد زیاده از پناهنده های سوری را قبول کرد. خودت به میدان هوایی رفتی که اونا را خیر مقدم بگویی. احساساتی شدی. چرا؟ علتش چی بود؟
One of my tasks has been to work with the Honorable John McCallum, the Minister for Refugee Citizenship and Immigration, on this incredibly ambitious initiative of welcoming tens of thousands of Syrian refugees into Canada. And I had the great privilege of going to Montreal in Quebec to witness one of the nearly 30 flights of Syrian refugees coming onto Canadian grounds. And how can you not get emotional? I walked into this space, which was initially a warehouse, a storage space, and with a great deal of creativity and ingenuity, the public servants had turned this space into a welcome center. So you come in and کالسکا برای بچه‌ها خورد گذاشته. This is where you go to fill out your paperwork. This is where you go for health reasons if you're not feeling well. جا بازی برای بچه‌ها، نقاشی، تلویزیون گذاشته. فیلمی چیزی بچه‌ها می‌خواستن نگاه کنن، نقاشی چیزی می‌خواستن بکنن تا پدر مادرها کارا خور می‌کردن. اگه هوام سرد بود خیلی خنک بودی او وقتا، اگه کرتی چیزی به کار داشتن، بوتی چیزی به کار داشتن به اندازه اینا، به سلیقه اینا. و ساعت 12 1 2 3 بجه شد، 3 بجه صبح و نفرایی که این کارا میکردن اصلا خستگی خودشون ندادن. لبخند از دهنای اینا نرفت و واقعا احساس کردم که I was very proud to be a Canadian that night. I continue to be, but it reminded me of how we were welcomed in Peterborough, Ontario. We didn't have a space set up with a station for your paperwork and a station for your clothing and a station for health reasons, and we didn't have that. But what Peterborough did was volunteers from the community provided us with all those services and supports without being asked to do it, without the government coming in and helping them really with the process. The people of Peterborough just did it. And, you know, I knew that what I had the great fortune to be a part of, I saw that night. We're not just welcoming these families. This isn't just about giving them a new life. We are changing the destiny of generations to come, their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids. And I think probably that's why I got a little bit emotional.
در مورد کمپاین پشمینه سرخ، رد پشمینه کمپاین، لطفاً برای من معلومات بده.
پشمینه سرخ یا رد پشمینه کمپین یک فعالیتی بود که من و یکی از دوستام به نام جسیکا ملنیک هر دوتا ما به یک مکتب رفتیم، خودی هم شروع کردیم. البته وقتی که اولین قدم گذاشتیم فکر نمی‌کردیم که یک برنامه باشه که هر سال ادامه میده و بزرگتر و کلانتر میشه. ما فکر میکردیم که شاید یکی دو ماه ما شالای سرخ بتونیم بفروشیم و پولی که جمع میشه به چریتی های بدیم که به خانم ها و دخترهای افغان کمک میکنن. We did it because we wanted to be part of something bigger than ourselves, and we didn't know that it was going to be received with such open arms from the people of Peterborough. And we've partnered with several agencies. اولین پارتنرشیپی که ما داشتیم ای بود که پولایی که جمع میشه ری میکنیم به بیوه‌زن‌های افغانستان به کابل که هستن so that they can receive vocational training, so that they can enter the workforce and make a meaningful income. بعد از او یک گروهی آمدن از ما خواستن که خودی از اونا کمک کنیم. They were building a maternity clinic and they wanted our help, and so we contributed to their maternity clinic, and it allowed them to expand and become a maternity hospital, Bostan Qunduz. And now we're working with Canadian Women for Women in Afghanistan. دانش، علم، همونطور که هجی بابام باور داشتن، همونطور که مادرم یقین داشتن که دانش واقعا درها رو وا میکنه برای خانم ها، برای دخترها. این چریتی هم همونطور آپریت میکنه.
خبر تقررت من حیث وزیر در حکومت کانادا و همچنان به حیث عضو پارلمان در سراسر جهان از طرف افغانها استقبال شد و این یک موفقیت بسیار بزرگ بود. من حیث یک زن افغان، اما حد و حدود خشونت علیه زن در افغانستان سرش چی فکر میکنی؟ چی نظر داری در موردش؟
سروران گرامی، افغانهایی که تمام دنیا از تمام دنیا بریم به فیسبوک یا به تویتر کارت ری کردن، به روزنامه ها مسیج نوشتن، تلفن زدن، ایمیل دادن. با وجودی که نتونستم متاسفانه جواب همه گیر بدم، ما بفهمن که تمام پیام ها رو گرفتم و خیلی خیلی ممنون دارم و واقعا التماس دعا. میفهمم که این وظیفه که من دارم وظیفه کوچکی خوردی نیه. And you know خیلی از من برای من گفتن آفرین تو. ولی من ایر بگم که به تمام فامیل های افغان مریم هست از من لایق تر، از من با سلیقه تر، از من پشتکار بیشتر. واقعا به هر فامیل افغان که نگاه کنین همین دخترایی هستن که اگه که درها برای اینا وا بشه واقعا میتونن که زندگی خود خو، فامیل خو و جامعه عوض کنن و بهتر کنن. متاسفانه خیلیا او فرصت هایی که من دیشتم ندارم. وقتی که فکر میکنم در مورد فرخنده های دنیا، این واقعا جای تأسف برای همگی ما افغانا به خصوص. حجی بابا همیشه میگفتن ما مردم علم و کمالیم. We are the people of knowledge and culture. We are leaders. We are the people who produce the likes of Rumi. We can do so much better. And when I see the way women and girls miss Farkhunde Jan, when I see their fate, and when I see the way that girls are held back in a country that desperately needs 100% of its talent and workforce and imagination, it is disappointing, it is frustrating, and frankly depressing, because it is important that countries like Canada partner with Afghanistan to help Afghanistan become all that it can be. But unless the people of Afghanistan hold hands together and provide the same level of respect to every man, woman, and child, we are not going to get there. And I would like to see Afghanistan revitalized in my lifetime, because the world has a lot to learn from our people. And so I hope that what came out of the tragedy that is the story of Farkhunde, I hope what comes out of that is a renewed effort and determination for all of us, especially the people of Afghanistan, to remember who we really are and try harder to allow women and girls the respect and the opportunities they deserve.
Please tell us about your work as a Minister of Democratic Institutions.
Well, so my riding elected the first woman it's ever elected. Elected the youngest person, the youngest woman they've elected, an immigrant, a Muslim. They did all that, and I don't think they had any idea that they were also electing the youngest woman to ever serve in Canada's cabinet. Nobody could have seen that they were electing the first Muslim to serve in a Canadian cabinet. And you know, here I am with this incredible opportunity and responsibility to enhance the democratic institutions that are so vital to the peace and the prosperity that Canada enjoys. And so my job is to make sure that those people who don't usually vote, the people who don't see themselves represented in our parliament, whether it's young people or women, those living in rural and remote areas, the indigenous peoples of this land, people with disabilities and exceptionalities. My job is to hear from them what it is that we can do to make our democratic institutions more inclusive and more accessible to them. And I realize that it's not an easy task, but it's one that I'm very much grateful to have been asked to take on.
با این موفقیت هایی که نصیبت شده، عضو پارلمان هستی، وزیر هستی، آینده خودت کجا میبینی؟ آیا یک روز خودت من حیث صدر اعظم کانادا میبینی که یک روز صدر اعظم کانادا باشی؟
During the campaign, there were 26 debates in Peterborough. This tells you how much this community is engaged in the democratic process. There were 26 debates, and at a few of them, one of the questions would be, if the Prime Minister calls you tomorrow, what cabinet positions do you seek? And that idea never occurred to me. Sure, maybe in 8 years or 10 years, when I have worked hard and served the people of my riding, if I prove my worthiness, if the Prime Minister asks me to carry out a task, I will do it. Similarly, right now, Canada has one of the best Prime Ministers that Canadians could dream of. Right now, we have a Prime Minister that the rest of the world is so proud of. And right now, I'm focused on serving this Prime Minister and serving the people of Peterborough Kawartha. And as تمام بینندگان خواهش میکنم که دعا کنن که من بتونم این مسئولیت خیلی بزرگ به خوبی انجام بدم.
در مورد مادرت سریا جان، لطفاً برای ما بگو که چی نقش را در زندگیت بازی کرده؟
مادرم یک شیرزنه و وقتی که when life gets difficult, I just think of her story. I think of how she was my age and she did the impossible and she made a really courageous decision. She had a really big dream and there was a lot going against her, but she had the courage and the conviction to do it. And she did it, and it was a huge risk, but it paid off. So, she's my role model in that way, to not be afraid, to dream big, to believe and to trust your instincts, and to know that no obstacle is too big, especially in this country. Of course, she also makes me really good food. She goes shopping for me to make sure I have decent clothes, and she's my #1 fan. And so, واقعاً شیرزن.
بسیار تشکر از فرصتی که برای ما دادی مریم جان.